So, but when it got to the wedding night, guess what happened? Welcome. If you're a Christian, let me be straight. If you're probably like a Christian sister, you're a believer to be precise, then you're thinking of, can I marry a Muslim brother? I think this video is for you. So please stay tuned to the end of this video. And if it is vice versa, a Muslim probably trying to marry a Christian, you can also stay tuned and watch this video to the end. So thank you for joining and God bless you. So welcome back. Actually, this is a true life story, and I would like you all to listen to this story. I'm going to share a story of a sister, and I'm as well going to share my own story, but my own side of the story is just a very short one. So this story of this sister, she was a believer. Let me say she's a believer because it's not that she's dead, she's still alive. So she's a believer, a very, very committed believer in Christ. So she was in love with this brother. This brother is a Muslim, and this brother was all over her. You see? So she was so confused and she doesn't know what to do. So she was, like, I don't know how they started their relationship, but I'm just going to share the story of how it went. So they were really in love. So to the extent that this sister had to bring the brother to church, and the brother promised her heaven and earth. The brother was like, I was going to join your faith, and I'm going to make sure I do whatever you ask me to do, if that is the only way I can get married to you. So the brother obeyed. They court for, I think, 2 years. Was it 2 years? I'm not sure, but I think it was 2 years because this story has been a long story. I thought about it today and I feel like I am going to share it. So this brother cooperated with this sister for 2 years. Coming with this sister, I think it was 2 years or more, but it wasn't less than 2 years. So coming with this sister to church, they were very close. The sister is a chorister. So they do everything together. The brother got baptized, changed his name. I don't want to mention the name. So you see, he got baptized, and I think I don't want to mention his name. So he got baptized, and it was a name was given to him. So if you were that sister, I'm sure you will know that, I got my conviction right. This is my true husband. But let's see what happens to the end of the story. So it happens that on the wedding day, they had their wedding, normal wedding. Everybody knows these two couples, or let me say two about to be couples, in the church, in the fellowship, all around the sisters, everywhere around the sisters. The brother was all over, because it's not that he didn't love her, he actually loved her. So, but when it got to the wedding night, guess what happened? People, guess what happened? On wedding night, on the wedding day, when brother had to get there. So I don't know if this happened after brother had visited the paradise, or you know what I mean, right? When you're a believer and you're courting, you're not meant to see each other until, as in, you're not meant to meet, you're not meant to have anything together, like having a fun together until the wedding night. So this brother paid all of this, protocol, followed everything and did everything perfectly well. But on the wedding night, I guess it must have been after all the gbogbo tigbo. So on wedding night, you know what this brother did? This brother now brought out hijab, and all these Muslim sisters, materials, hijab, the covering stuff and every other thing. And the brother now said, okay, look here, sister, I have done all I should just to marry you. Now that I have you, I am so sorry. You're gonna come back to me like I own you now. I am your husband, and it is till death do us part. Till death do us part. So he brought out the hijab and he said, Mo ma pasuno fun e. You know what that means? Pasuno means that you know, the Muslims, if you're a converted Muslim, you convert into Muslims. So on the name, on the probably the, or you marry a Muslim, on your baby naming day, your first baby naming day, or any of your baby naming day, they are going to do pasuno. That means they are going to do a change of name. That is meaning of pasuno, a change of name for you. So actually the brother did a change of name and gave her a name which I'm not going to mention. The brother gave her another name. So instead of the sister being probably like Sister Sade, Sister Mary, Sister Glorious, so the brother gave her like Sister Kafaya, Sister Surat, Sister Shukurat, Sister, you know, brother Pasuno from sister. That was how the, you know, how the story ends. I do not know, but this is where I know the story up to. So this is where, as in, this is where I got the info to. I know the sister that I got this info from, we no longer meet, and there was a time we met last, and I was like, what is the update on this info? She was like, she herself had not heard from this sister, but I'm sure this sister had left you know, I don't know, I don't want to conclude, but I'm just trying to answer some questions that some sisters might be having. If you're a true believer, this might not work for you, and this, so stay tuned. This is my own story. Please stay tuned, don't leave. Okay, well, thank you for staying tuned. So this is about my own issues now, my own story. This one is not somebody's story. I didn't adopt this. Okay, so there was a time I had a relationship with a Muslim brother. So this brother, we didn't just start like we want to marry each other. We started as friends. And you know, somehow we started having feelings for each other, and we were getting in love with each other. So when it got to a point, a certain point, that he was beginning to show me to all his family members, and everything was beginning to get too serious. I was not like asking myself, like, this person is a Muslim, am I ready for this? Because he was already in love with me, and I was already in love with him. So at that point, I started, you know, doing check and balancing, that am I ready for this? So by then I started throwing him some questions like, okay, so I asked him that, if I get married to you, would you allow me to take my kids to church? No, that was not where I started from. I was like, oh, if I get married to you, does that stop anything? And their firstborn, their mother's firstborn, is a Christian, very, as in a believer, a serious believer. So that also keeps me at rest, that I'm in the right place, that even if he's practicing his Muslim, you know, I'm still okay. So but when I asked him, he told me, that's okay, that I can practice my Christianity. Why not? I have to roll. His older sister is also a Christian, so I should not bother. That I'm fine. That nobody is not going to disturb me. It's not going to bother me. So one of these days, God just helped me because I was already anyway, let me not talk too many stories. So one of these days, we were just together. You know, that's why communication is good in relationship. So we're just communicating, and to my surprise, this brother just said, he said that when he married me, that I'm not gonna take his kids to church. Yeah. I was like, why? I'm like, why? He said, so he started getting serious. I was like, of course, that his kids can, what is his kids doing in church? That his kids won't go to church, that I am free to go wherever, but his children will never visit the church. That his children must practice, you know, the Muslim, practice proper Islamic whatever. So I was like, oh my God. So that was when I knew I am in the wrong place. So, and that was right there I made the decision, even though I didn't make it known to him. I made my decision. That thank God, it's not that I didn't love him. I was already in love, but I still had a choice. Like, I wasn't carried away. I was still like, am I really ready? I was still in the, you know. In fact, by the time he made that statement, I was already settled. Like, my mind was settled that I think there is no big deal. So the day he made that statement, right there, I made my decision that no. Oluwaseun, you have to step back. This is a no-go area. My own children that comes out of me will not serve my Jesus Christ. That will never happen. I am a believer and my children must be believers. So this is how I made my decision, but I didn't let him know. So what I did was, in my heart, I started drawing it back. I called my heart back. Don't go too much so that you will not be broken. Come back. So I started molding my heart. Like I started practicing, putting myself in that practice. Like, okay, let's assume we are no longer together. What's going to happen? So that was when I started reducing that closeness. So that was when, in fact, that was when I made my decision. I made that decision. It was so sharp and straightforward because I can't deceive myself. So my advice for, if you are in this situation, because if you get yourself involved, it is better not to go in there. If you, from the beginning of the relationship or whatever you call it, if you are friends or you are whatever, you should know that this is a Muslim brother, you are a Christian. So it all depends on what you want. It's your choice. So if you know you're not going to cope, and my dear, I'm not going to lie, you can't cope. You can't cope. If the first story is not the situation, the second story might be the situation, which is my own story. So if you feel the first story might not be a big deal, how about the one I just said right now? You have to talk it out properly. The other sister also talk it out properly. Imagine a brother sacrificing 2 good years, coming all over you, doing everything you said, coming into your... In fact, that one is nobody's fault. It could be anybody, including me. No matter how smart you are, if the brother is smarter, you know, men are so, their heart is so deep, they can do anything. So let's be guided. Don't let your heart be broken. You have to guide yourself jealously. Make sure you know what you're doing. Read your Bible very well about Christian and the other faith. The other faith, it won't work. It can't work. Some are working. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say totally that it won't work. Some are working. Like the other brother, if he was faithful enough, he could have just stayed there and be faithful to the end. But he wasn't. So you can never tell. Some men can be so mean because they love you and they want to marry you by force. And apart from that, if that person is not determined, if you are not seeing that seriousness, I don't even know. I don't want to say it can work. I just want to promptly say it cannot work. It can't work. Because if you're a Christian, you still need to be building yourself continuously. There is always this issue. But if the person can be faithful, which you can never tell, the first story might affect you. So if you know you're already into the relationship, you need to pray well. The other sister might not pray well, or maybe they were already having intercourse when they were not supposed to do so. So all those things will blindfold her not to see the vision she's supposed to see. So if it is a pit you're about to fall into, the Lord will show it to you. No matter what, God will show it to you. So you have to pray well. If you know you are in this issue, pray well, receive your message from God. You might be the one to convert the brother, and it might not be something that will work. So that is left for God. If you know you have not received any go ahead from God, because drop the relationship. Don't go far. Just don't go and get in what you cannot. You know, it is better for you to marry right and enjoy your marriage than for you to get into the marriage and start enduring your marriage. So if you know you're not ready to give up Christ for anything, then you should pull out of that relationship. Get out before it is too late. That is my message for you. Thank you so much. If you watched to this time, you are a superhero. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe. You see this red button? It is very important to me on YouTube. You see? Please subscribe and press like if you love this message. Share this message to your friends or your family members or your school student or whatever. Anybody you know that this message might be useful to. Share it on your WhatsApp. No. This might help others. God bless you and thank you so much for joining me. Bye.